It's been a while, but I have something really fun I want to share with you guys. I worked with a client last week who had this being in her field who called himself Leviathan. And Leviathan is essentially a spirit who dwells at the bottom of the ocean. He's like he felt like the Kraken. He felt like a huge, ancient, ocean-dwelling being that moved very slowly and thought very deeply. And it was a very sleepy sort of quality, but very heartfelt. After I finished this session, this being had stayed with me for several days. I just sat and had a full session with him this morning where I felt that the communication was finally clear enough to get a lot of information out. So I was asking him, why do I feel like I'm choking when we talk? And he says, because you have drowned before. He says, I am a spirit of guidance and comfort to many who have lost their lives at sea. For some, drowning is severely traumatic. During especially traumatic death, some souls have difficulty separating themselves from that moment. I do the work of helping those souls to put that memory to rest so they can move on. He said, many of them stay with me and slumber for an extended period of time before moving on. They sleep, I sleep. I give comfort to the lost souls of the sea so they can find their way home. I asked, do all of these pieces eventually go home, these pieces that are sleeping there? And he says, eventually, yes. And at this point, I'm telling him, you know, this connection is very, very strong, but I still feel quite sleepy. And he says, I'm becoming awake again. It's taking me a lot longer to emerge from my slumber this time. He says he takes cycles, and then he comes out like a being or an animal who hibernates, but that it's harder this time for him to wake up. And I said, is there a reason for that? There is a signal of sedation, which once succumbed to is extremely difficult to extricate oneself from. The sedation signal is in its downward cycle right now. I said, is this a new signal? He said, no, I have always encountered it. It has had many cycles of burgeoning and deadening life on this planet. It strengthens and wanes as the tides of the ocean slowly turn. I do my best to remain in step with its cycle. When this signal is too strong to fight, I enjoy a nice long sleep. When it pulls back for another round, I awaken and enjoy a few centuries of interaction with this dimension. At this point, I'm like, what? Okay. This was really interesting to me. This conversation took a turn way away from lost souls. I said, why are you fighting the signal to talk to me now? He said, I am not. This may be odd for you, but I have not fully awakened yet. This signal is in its death throes before it loses intensity and sputters out for another long period of time. It has gained intensity as it reaches cycle climax. It will die soon, and when it does, I will enjoy full wakefulness once again. The fact that I have begun waking means the dying cycle of sedation frequency has begun. It cannot be stopped. I said, how long will that take? He said, every cycle is unique. It will not be long now. I said, when the sedation signal dies, what will happen? Many will awaken once more. Many like me are coming awake now as we feel the rumblings of awakening rock the earth. We will be free to connect and communicate more freely with the ones that we love and miss. During this frequency's cycle of dying, we are all enjoying periods of wakeful transmission. This is how you and I are able to reach each other now. I said, why are we reaching each other now? Do I know you? Because you've really stayed with me all week. Yes. He said, yes. We've met many times in many forms, though I'm always in the ocean. You have come to me through various forms of life to engage in curious conversation. We are friends. I said, but I've never been to the ocean in this lifetime. He said, but that's not true. You know that's not true. Your consciousness has been here many times. We are well acquainted. I said, yes, but I've never touched the ocean with my body or seen it with my eyes. He said, you are so obsessed with your body and your physical sensations. You have touched me with your mind. Our hearts have connected in pure, loving union. What more could one want out of an experience of friendship? If you came to the ocean, it is likely that your eyes would not find me, nor would your physical sensation of touch. You might sense my presence as you do now. We exist. We are speaking. We feel love for one another. Is that not enough? I said, okay, yes, it is. Good point. Thank you. And then I said, before you go, is there anything that you want to say to humans? Signal of sedation is dying, and this will be a joyous time for all who meet this awakening cycle with an open heart. Let us all celebrate this reunion of souls across dimensional divides. Let us awaken together, remember each other, and join forces to form a more harmonious world. I'll be here for all who care to reach out. Take an imagined journey to the bottom of the sea, open your heart and your mind, and ask to remember me. And I said, what should they call you? And he said, Leviathan. There you go. It's a standing invitation to any of you who wish to reach out to this creature at the bottom of the sea. Perhaps you will encounter a piece of yourself there at the bottom of the ocean, as I did find a piece of myself, and so did, I believe, the client that I was working with last week. And here's what's really interesting about connecting with Leviathan and getting this story out of him. When I connected last week and did that work for that client, it left me completely exhausted. I mean, exhausted and emotional. And I had, luckily, thank God, I had a sound healing scheduled for Thursday. And I was just thinking, like, I knew that I needed it physically. I knew that it would help. Oh boy, as soon as we began, I cried, and I could feel other people crying through me. I could feel these voices screaming and crying through me, that deep guttural pain, and I was just wrung out. By the time we finished that sound healing, I was completely on the floor, and it took me a while to stand up, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna spend the day in bed after this. It was a couple of hours of recuperation after that, and then I have just felt amazing ever since. Amazing. And now I'm getting this story very, very clearly. When I was first connecting with him after that session with my client, every time I tried to connect with him, my throat was choked up and blocked. I felt him with me. I felt he wanted to talk, and I was thinking, why am I choking? I am not afraid of the ocean. I don't know of any lifetimes in the ocean. I don't have any real memories coming in. Luckily, I had that sound healing the next day, and after that sound healing, I wrung out everything within me. I must have had some sort of lifetime connection in the ocean, because the pain that came through me during that sound healing bath was so real. And ever since then, I feel better, and now I can talk to Leviathan without this choking feeling like I'm gonna lose it. So something about the sound healing really helps my throat chakra. I cannot recommend this enough. Find a good sound healer in your area. If you live in Tulsa and Broken Arrow, go to Oakway the Apothecary and ask for Sarah Maud, because she really knows her shit. She really, really is very good at this, and every time I go and see her, I just have these emotional, energetic releases that I just can't seem to touch on my own with the work that I'm doing on my own. I needed to share all of that with you guys. Much love. I wish you heaven on earth. I wish you beautiful healing and recovery and soul retrieval, if that's what you're after. And check out Leviathan, because he seems to want to connect with us, and maybe you'll catch him when he's awake. Good luck. Until next time.